Hey, I'm Lauren. I am a former trauma therapist turned content creator, and I want to talk today about early retirement, burnout, and the human desire to create because I learned about financial independence, retiring early, back in 2007, 2008, when I first got sober. I had a partner who introduced me to the book Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. And this was before the FIRE movement actually started and they coined those terms. But these folks were not the first to ever write about retiring early, but he really hammered home your real hourly wage after getting to the job, whatever transportation you use, the clothes for the job, the food, the time, and just how much is going to actually impact your life every purchase that you make. Say my real hourly wage, if I'm making $11 an hour after taxes, I'm really only taking home $8. So I go to a store and I see a shirt and it's $24. I start asking myself, is it worth 4 hours at my desk to buy this shirt? It really started hitting home for me how to put money in terms of my life's energy and my time. There are some activities that bring me no income or take a lot of time, like cleaning my house or grocery shopping, that I would rather do myself than give somebody else the opportunity to do for me in the sake of saving time. Say my hourly wage is $250 an hour. Well, it could be construed that going grocery shopping for myself is a waste of time and money. For me, as a human, I have to create. And there is something that I want to talk about today with retiring early that a lot of people talk about now that the FIRE movement is very big, and a lot of FIRE people end up making YouTube channels because there is a desire to share and help and understand what it's really like when you don't have to work anymore. There is still a desire to do something. This happens with regular retirement too. People in their 60s or 70s, those first year, maybe year to 3 years is wonderful. They sleep in, they cook when they want to, they do whatever they want. And then there comes this period of stagnation where they're like, okay, what do I do now? Some people just are fine for the rest of their time, relaxing, doing whatever they would normally do, going to Pilates, yada, 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 whatever your thing might be. But as a human being, my desire to create is so strong that for the first few years, I did experience a lot of joy, but I also overspent. I realized that shopping was a bit of a hobby for me. Even though I got into minimalism, the minimalism roller coaster kind of went back and forth, and I would go back to consumerism because I'd have a lot more free time on my hands, spending time on social media, being influenced. I have the money, so I can do it. And then finding it a little fruitless and wanting. It's like shopping can replace the feeling of productivity. So in early retirement, for me, that was a big sticking point. And with the current economy, the economy was booming. Everything was fine. And now we're in this place of inflation and things. What I was living off of my fixed income, will it be enough? Kind of getting back into this survival mode, right? It's crazy because I was talking to a friend the other day who's in his early 30s, and he was like, bro, what I wouldn't give to have your problems. I think for me in early retirement, it has been the battle of gratitude for what I have and then looking to what's next. The pendulum in life swings back and forth. Balance is the moment in the middle. So I tend to go through periods of high productivity and then high rest to recover from that productivity. And yes, wouldn't it be nice if I could balance somewhere in the middle and stay there? I think that makes life boring. For me, it's normal to have bursts of energy and to get creative and make a ton of YouTube videos and then maybe take a week off or two and get back to the grounded things in life, like jumping in the ocean, making sure you're getting your steps on. Pitfalls of early retirement being that there can be periods of it being boring, feeling some depression or stagnation, and then deciding, okay, I want to create again, or maybe I want to make more money, or maybe I want to have another choice. My partner woke up from his nap and he was coming down here. It's a high surf day, so he has surfed to his heart's content. As someone who has also retired early, who has a partner who is in traditional work, we don't mix finances generally. We do have budget conversations and deal with bills accordingly. But as a divorcee, I probably will not be mixing my funds with anyone ever again, or legally getting the government involved in my relationships. I always believe relationships are, I like you pretty good. Let's see how it goes. And I now understand, as someone who's been through divorce and separation, that people grow and change. And there are some things that there is a place of no return. And so that's just complete side note about early retirement and finances. I like to use ChatGPT and or other platforms, Gemini, et cetera, to bounce ideas off of and run financial numbers and scenarios through. I have to couple my pendulum swings into high activity with the knowledge and understanding that I will probably pivot back towards slow living and quiet days as well. So all of these big ideas I have, like to buy a second investment property, to buy an olive farm in the Mediterranean because it's a lifestyle thing. I'd love to make some money on a farmhouse in Italy and then eventually retire there. So why not buy now so I can have the equity growth over time, right? There's all kinds of things that I'm constantly coming up with. This is another thing that happens in early retirement. You'll constantly come up with schemes and ideas of maybe how to make more money, but really just to have fun making money. And I will say that Mr. Money Mustache is right, that work is always better when you don't need the money. But this thing about retiring early, and that's why lately I've been seeing a lot of videos about why I regret retiring early. There is a stagnation that can happen because I became a stay-at-home mom, and then after divorce now had 7-8 years of no technical employment. There's a huge gap in my resume if I wanted to go back to a traditional job or starting a new career path. And I'm one of those people, sort of jack of all trades, ace of none. So I tend to get bored with things. I could train to enter the medical field and have a great career in that. I could go into HR, having a social work background. That would be a great foray into a new department. However, the more I actually think about doing these things, the more I would just rather build my YouTube channel and build value for others who are in this direction in their life financially or thinking about it, because I think there's been a big increase in the desire for coast fire because of some of the issues that have popped up in the 30 to 50-year-old range. It's like when you retire early, I was almost 40, is 39, and things change. You become a different person. In that period of time, I am no longer in a marriage. I have 2 little kids who are growing and have needs. I think there's things we don't always take into account. And then health insurance costs, my God, right? It's like I currently don't have any. There's a really cool urgent care down the street that kind of runs their own version of something that I can subscribe to. Thank goodness it's there, but what if there's something catastrophic? Would I retire early again? Absolutely, 100%. Would I have done some things differently? Yes. Would I have invested in a different way? Potentially. I really like real estate. I think in my current situation, it's harder to invest as a single person as when I was married. I probably would have bought more real estate. I would have started a business while being a stay-at-home mom had I had the capacity. It all happens the way it's supposed to. There's a saying that I really like, and Abraham Hicks says it. And so if you don't like that kind of content, that's okay. I love listening to her. She's very grounding for me. I want to be a positive, happy person, and I have old patterns from childhood that I tend to go to. So I listen to her on repeat, but she always says, words don't often teach. It's usually life experience that teaches. And though that is true, I think the combination of the two is where you level up. For me personally, yes, I did so many things wrong. Had I not done them wrong, I wouldn't have the perspective I have today. So I can share with you what I did wrong. Like bailing out of my $250,000 portfolio 4 years ago and giving that back to our business, which I did end up selling, which I am being currently paid for, which does provide early retirement for me, right? So I reinvested in my business, but I would have done that differently. I would have taken out less. I would have taken just the bare minimum to keep the business running. I wouldn't have liquidated the whole thing because it hurts. It's painful to think that I did that. And then I had to start over. I would have bought more real estate, spent more time investing in the upkeep of the real estate that we do have. And I started a second business. It comes from life experience. So I hope that if you're increasing your savings rate from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 or beyond, that you understand that following frugal content and understanding the mindset behind being marketed to and understanding that this guy is not your friend. There is so much marketing out there. And I think another thing I would do differently is protect my mind space from marketing. And that's not just my phone. I've read so many financial books, all of the classics on financial independence, all of the classics on real estate and investing in business and returns and all of these things. The Millionaire Next Door, Your Money or Your Life, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Atomic Habits, and understanding that those are people who are not me. I am not you. I can tell you what worked for me and what didn't work for me. I watched a podcast this morning of two very opposing people, both making lots and lots of money and managing their money well with very different strategies. And one person would do it this way and the other person would do it a very different way. To understand that even watching me, you might see something in my house. You might like that I'm a minimalist. You might like that I'm frugal. And coffee is not your thing, but vacations are. Like, I'm going to invest in really super nice coffee at my house. That's my bougie line. Staying in a nice hotel isn't my thing, right? I'll rent a Turo car if it's cheaper. I don't care if it's a 2016. I drive a Prius, right? I was driving my Prius this morning in love with my 2015 Prius, thinking how perfect this car is for me. I saw a really cool BMW for sale today. I had the for sale sign and it's like, wow, what a beautiful, nice car. I don't want it. I can appreciate its beauty. I don't want it. It's not me. It's just not my thing. I can't say staying in a nice hotel is my thing. Actually, I'm in the middle of the road. I'm not going to go to the Motel 6, but I'm also not going to stay at the Omni. Yeah, time with my kids. Absolutely very important. If I do go back to work, I'll probably wait for 3 years until I get the balloon payment for the business that I sold. At that point, I'm going to be paying off my mortgage, and then I'll have the income from that, and I'll have a good chunk of money. And at that point, I need to decide, do I want to just chill, grow my portfolio, go back to work, and then put as much as I can back into that retirement savings to buy a second property? Or do I just want that to be it? And YouTube's my thing. Maybe I'll start a consultation. Maybe I'll start a weekend bakery at my home. Things can change. Things can change for you. I am a big pusher of joyful living and following your heart, because nobody is you. I can tell you a billion different business ideas. Find the ones that work for you. If it's making content, do it. And my partner recently said this to me because I was having an existential crisis when it comes to work. And he said, do what you would just normally do, whether or not the money was there. I would be making content 100%. So here we are. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not going to go get a job just for survival. Any decision made out of fear, I'm not doing. And if I don't know the answer, then it's not time to act. So what I do know is that if I make a video today, I will feel satisfied. So thank you for being here. Consider liking and subscribing. If you're retired early, how's it going for you? How are you feeling these days? What's up for you right now? Do you go into survival mode still too? I understand these are Cadillac problems. Let me know in the comments. If you're into frugal living and minimalism too, give a shout out for those things. Mahalo.